In the current times, our day-to-day life has become busy in fulfilling our physical and mental requirements and social responsibilities as well. In this fast-paced routine life, the requirements of the soul are often forgotten. So, first, I would like to congratulate each one of you for taking some time from your busy schedule to fulfill the requirements of your soul through Satsang. Through this Satsang, you will experience the benefits of yoga and pranayama, which can positively impact your health and nourish your body. Let us begin with the next phase as prayers. Let us move to the next segment where we will perform yogasana. We will now engage in a series of yogasanas to promote physical and mental well-being. Before we begin, please read the disclaimer carefully. By participating in the activity, you agree and acknowledge and take responsibility of any such results. Yogasanas are very helpful in keeping our body fit and healthy. We are very fortunate to get this human body. Human body is the only body which is capable of achieving salvation. In fact, salvation is the ultimate goal of human life. Vihangam Yoga provides the knowledge and guidance of Sadguru that helps us achieve this goal. Please let us know if you are interested in knowing more about Vihangam Yoga and learn meditation technique to get started in your spiritual journey. We have Sulbha Soniji from Vihangam Yoga family. She hails from Mumbai, India, and will be guiding us with yogasanas. I would like to now hand over to Sulbhaji. Over to you, Sulbhaji.
Thank you, Ruchi. Am I visible to each and everyone? Hello?
Yes,
Yeah,
you.
yes, you are. And Ruchiji, can you stop sharing?
Okay.
Actually, I cannot see anything just give me a moment. I will rejoin. I'm not able to see the screen. It's completely white.
Is it okay? Sulbhaji, can you do this?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. I hope everyone is fine and had a wonderful starting off with the year, isn't it? So let's look after a little bit. How many of you have returned from a long vacation? Like in this, no? Okay. So let me tell the topic. Today's topic will be specially designed on your back pain. All right. When you sit long on the laptop, or right now also when you're sitting, maybe you will get back pain. Women's also get back pain, a lot of back pain. Sitting at the one place, or you're not doing any physical exercise. That is also the good reason for back pain. Okay, so we will little bit focus on which asanas are very good for it. Yeah, so we can begin with the session. I will request all of you to on your camera, and if you have any question, you can ask for me. Let's begin. Keep your hands at a ground neutral, place it on your thighs. Take a deep breath in and completely breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Become aware of your body. Become aware of your breath. Observe your body, how it is functioning. Observe it. Now, focusing on your throat as well as your forehead, start chanting Om. Loud, sweet, and deep. Take a deep breath in. Om. Om. Last one, take a deep breath in. Om. Turn your hands, close your eyes, listen to the prayer carefully. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunatu Sahaveryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Everyone together. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. With a gentle smile on your face, start rubbing your palms with each other, make it form, and slowly place it on your breast. Feel the warmness, and slowly open your eyes with a gentle smile. Yeah, let me adjust my camera. Give me a moment. Everyone, come up on your mat. This is fine. Okay. Let's begin with the warm-up first. Place your hands on your wrist. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Start rotating your ankle. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8, Om 9, Om 10. Reverse. Om 10, Om 9, Om 8, Om 7, Om 6, Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. Am I visible to each one of you? Why I'm getting issue? Oops.
We can see you, Sulbaji.
Yeah, we are able to see you properly.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what issue I'm there. I'm not able to see you guys. If I do like this, then yeah. Okay, let's start with other leg. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Start rotation. 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8, Om 9, Om 10. Reverse. Om 10, Om 9, Om 8, Om 7, Om 6, Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. Exhale, drop it down. Next one we will do for the knee strengthening, okay? When you will grow old, you need your knee strength. Okay, let's do it. Keep your hands on your knees. Exhale down. Inhale up. 1. Om 2. Om 3. Exhale. Inhale up. Om 4. Om 5. Start with rotation. Right to left. Om 1. Om 2. Om 3. Om 4. Om 5. Reverse. Om 5. Om 4. Om 3. Om 2. Om 1. Relax. Legs apart as much as you can. Okay, but in general, you can just keep 2 inches or 3 inches gap between your legs. Apart your hands. Exhale, touch your right hand to your left big toes and look toward your other hand. Inhale up. 1. Exhale. Inhale up. 2. On 3. On 4. Little bit speed up. Exhale down. Inhale up. 5. Exhale down. Inhale up. 6. Exhale down. Inhale up. 7. Exhale. Inhale 8. Exhale. Inhale 9. Exhale. Inhale 10. And relax. Start with jogging. Only a moment. Very, very slow. Everyone can do this. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. This will help you to warm your nerves. If you're directly going to do something, so maybe you're ended, your nerves will be not warm and it will get stretched. So that will be like, you will get injured to your nerves. So that is very, very bad, to be honest. So you can just make yourself warm, that much warm and flexible, so that you can practice the yoga asana. Okay, relax. Let's start with jumping jacks. We'll do 10 jumping jacks. Inhale, exhale it out. Okay, fast. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Now you can have 30 seconds of walk. 30 seconds of walk. Or you can just apart your legs, hands back, and relax. Take deep breaths through chest. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so first asana is cow cat posture. For that, you have to come up on your knees. Okay, just adjust the camera a little. Yeah, come up on your knees. Keep about half inches gap between your legs. Hands as well. Same. With inhalation, lift your head up and your buttock out. Look at the reef. Exhale. Bring your head between your palms. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2. Inhale up. This will give strength to your lower back, middle back. When you open your inhale up, that opens your chest, strengthen up your muscles. One last time, inhale up and be here for 5 seconds. Normal breath. Guys, do not hold your breath. A lot of people make that mistake, but you're not going to do that. Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. Exhale. Bring head between your arms. Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. From here only, go in Shashankasana. Keep your legs together. Big toes pointing backward. Little bit you can spread your hands. And exhale. Bring your buttock down. Remember your buttock will be not up. Bring it down. As much as you can stretch yourself. Well, if your hands are not going, so if your hands are here, that's fine. Try to walk with your hands, with your fingers, slowly, 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 and stretch it. Dear, Om 5, Om 4, you can observe not only your back, lower back is getting strengthened, but your upper back is also getting stretched. When you keep on writing for a long time, you get pain over your upper back. So it will get relief of that pain. 3, Om 2, Om 1. Relax. Inhale up and relax. Next asana we will practice is your Bhujangasana. For that, you have to lay down on your tummy side, keeping your legs together, with toes pointing out. Don't keep it inside, with toes pointing out. Keep your palms or your hand beside your body. Remember, you will not open your hands completely. Close, elbow close to your body. Okay? Not too much open. Elbow close to your body. With inhalation, you're gonna lift your head and chest up. Head and chest up. Observe your lower back. Do not open your elbow completely. Yes? Make sure. Do not open your elbow completely. Half elbow open. Do not squeeze your shoulder. If you will squeeze the shoulder, all the force will be go on your shoulder. What is the use of doing the asana? For that, just open your elbow a little bit, chest out, and observe your back. Exhale it down. Once again, inhale up. Exhale it down. One last round. Inhale up and hold here. When I say hold, lot of people hold their breath, but you will hold your posture with normal breath, absolutely normal breath. Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. Exhale down. Relax yourself in Makarasana. Okay, before we start doing Makarasana, let's do Dhanurasana, the last asana. Then we can have relaxation. Okay? Come on. Bend your both the legs. Yeah. Hold it. Now, slowly, with inhalation, lift your head as well as try to lift your leg up in this way. Very good. And exhale slowly down. Once again, inhale, lift up. This is Ardha Dhanurasana. We have Purna Dhanurasana as well. Exhale down. Take energy, take 1 2 deep breaths, because next one we will hold for 5 seconds. Take deep breath in, breathe out. Once again, deep breath in, breathe out. Come on. Ready? Body is relaxed for a while. Let's begin. Head and just up and lift your body up as well as your legs. Dear, Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. Start movement. Forward, backward. Forward, backward. Relax. Release your legs, release your hands. Now, you can have relaxation. Just keep one hand upon the other. Okay? We'll do Balasana, or we also say as Makarasana. Bring your right leg forward, or whichever leg you find for, and keep your whichever leg you're picking up, the same way you will look. With a gentle smile, relax your body, observe yourself, whatever we did today, where you felt the stretches, relax your lower back, Om 10, Om 9, Om 8, Om 7, Om 6, Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. Both the legs back. As I have told you, there is a way to get up. You should not get up directly. For that, open one hand, keep other hand, turn your body toward one side, and slowly, with the help of your palms and your hands, get up. So this will not give a sudden shock to your body. Your body will be slowly and slowly prepared for it. Okay, so we did back bendings, okay, which were very, very good for your back. But remember one thing, a lot of people don't focus on it. But I will just, for your knowledge, I'm telling you, after doing anything of your back, like any forces to your back, you have to do a little bit of your forward bends, forward also. So we will do one asana, very, very last asana, where you have to do a little bit forward bend so that you should not get a severe pain, or maybe all of a sudden you did something exercise for your back and it started showing you bad effect, or all of a sudden your body was not ready to take. Okay, so let's do it. Paschimuktasana. Spread your legs. With inhalation, lift your hands up, and exhale, hold your big toes. Do not lift your knees up. Good. Dear. Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. Relax. Okay, guys. So this was all from my end. Let's conclude the session. I hope you just enjoyed it, and you can do daily practice whenever you feel like If you don't have back pain, then also you can do it. So that will improve your back bending. Okay. And when we grow old, we start moving forward. Okay, body, our spinal cord automatically take the shape of this way. So when you do something related to your back bendings, so that keeps your body straight. The spinal movement is good, flexible. Okay, let's start chanting Om. Take a deep breath in. Om. 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 Join your hands, close your eyes. Let's begin with the prayer. Om कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भो मा ते संगस्त्वकर्मणि ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Rub your palms together, make it one, and slowly place it on your eyes. Feel the warmness. Gently massage your face. This will give a glow on your face. Okay. Take your hands back. We'll do Bhumi Naman. Exhale it down. Pray to the Almighty God, the Mother Nature. Thanks to everyone, parents, Guru, people around you. Give greeting to each and everyone. Inhale up with a big smile. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day or a week ahead. See you on the next Sunday. Till then, take care of yourself and do practice. Little bit also. Do practice. Okay? Thank you. Namaste. Jai Shri Gurudev.
Thank you, Sulbhaji, for guiding us through yogasanas. Such simple postures can make big difference in our well-being. Thank you again for your guidance. You can reach out on the number shown at the bottom of the screen to register for group yoga classes. We now move to the next phase of the today's satsang to recognize warriors of the week. We all know that the best time to meditate is Brahma Muhurt between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. But most of us are unable to take advantage of this time. To encourage all of us, NAIVY has started a WhatsApp group called Brahma Muhurt Warriors. Goal for participants is to practice Brahma Muhurt meditation on their own and report a status on the group by sending done as a message on the group. There is no session to join. If you are interested in joining the group, please let us know and we will send you the link. It's time to congratulate warriors of the week who have meditated in Brahma Muhurt every single day of the week. This week's warriors are Surya Alamaraju ji, Radha ji, Yogesh Shirsagar ji, Mukesh Kumar ji, and Ravi Shankar ji. Inductees of the week are those disciples who have meditated for at least one day of the week. Inductees of this week are Niranjan Kumar ji from Atlanta, Subhash ji, Prachi Shirsagar ji, Amit Talekar ji, Bhagwati Patel ji, Manoj Gupta ji, Maya Verma ji, Sri Rang ji, Anu Kumar ji, Seema Singh ji, Niranjan Kumar ji from California, Saroj Gupta ji, Lalmani ji, Anjali Kumari ji, Vijay Kumar ji, Rashmi ji, Ranjani ji, Ragini ji, Bhavna Srivastav ji, and Utkarsh ji. Thanks to NAIVY for such a great initiative and warriors and inductees of the week to encourage all of us. It is inspiring to see the list growing day by day. We started with 2 or 3 people and have reached to 20 plus. That is very encouraging. We now transition to the next phase of Satsang, Vihangam Yoga Fundamentals. This is a classroom style interactive session that will help us deepen our understanding and confidence in sharing the profound teachings of Vihangam Yoga. By joining us in full strength on Sunday Satsang, we can collectively build a stronger and more confident NAIVY Samaj. Let us come together with open hearts and minds to learn, grow, and inspire each other. Our instructor of the day is Yogesh Kshirssagarji, who is a sincere disciple of Sadgurudeo and inspires us with his seva and devotion. We have had the opportunity to listen to him in the past satsangs and indulge into deep spiritual knowledge. I would like to request Yogeshji to please share your perspective on Vihangam Yoga. Over to you, Yogeshji.
Before we start the discussion on today's topic, I would like to offer my prayers at the holy feet of Lord Sadgurudeo. Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam yena characharam Tatpadam darshitam yena Tasme Sri Guruve Namaha Maya lok chudaya kar Chetan lok nivas Sadguru tako janiye Bhakti mukti te paas जन अधीन वंदन करे केहि विधि की जैसे वार पार की गम नहीं नमो नमो मम दे. Once again, thank you Ruchi ji, and Happy New Year to everyone. So today we are going to kick off a discussion for next few weeks on very fundamental topic or very important topic in the spirituality. Spirituality we all know is very subtle, and when we embark on this journey, first we have to understand that soul embodied in this human form go through the different stages of knowledge. And based on his spiritual growth, spiritual upliftment, the level of the knowledge expands. So in Swarved, Swamiji has explained different levels of knowledge in just one couplet. Swamiji says, प्रकृति संबंधित जीव का शुद्ध जीव का ज्ञान, युक्त जीव अरु ब्रह्म का शुद्ध ब्रह्म का ज्ञान. What does that mean? That means there are 4 levels of knowledge. And when we are talking about the knowledge, I'm talking about the experiential knowledge. So when the Jiva or Atma, the soul, is in bondage, and remain in the shackles of Prakriti, it could only experience the physical world through the physical organs. That is the first stage of knowledge, where the soul could only understand all the manifestations. But as the soul begins its journey on spirituality and reach to a first milestone where it realizes itself, what we call the self-realization or Atma Sakshatkar. That is when it realizes who it really is, what is the true nature of itself. जीव का अपना ज्ञान आत्म साक्षात्कार कि मैं कौन हूं. It get that knowledge when it reach to the self-realization stage. When the soul is confined within the boundaries of Prakriti, it is under the illusion that the body within which the soul resides, it considers that body as its own nature. But as it moves on the spirituality and reach to a level where self-realization happens, then the next stage or the next level of knowledge is acquired. And that is what Swamiji is mentioning here is Shuddha Jiva Ka Jnana. There, when self-realization happens, it is actually detached from Prakriti. And now it resides within itself and understand what it really is. Now it no more understand or is no more under the illusion that the physical body is the true nature. Here, what is it really in terms of consciousness? It realizes that it could detach itself, it could understand that the body is different and my existence is different. That knowledge is the second level of knowledge. The next stage on this spiritual journey is where a jiva or soul start experiencing or start making a connection, start establishing a connection with Brahma. That in that situation, what happens is you understand what it is, and you also understand what that supreme soul is. So there is a combined knowledge, and that is what Swamiji is saying, Yukta Jiva Aru Brahmaka. So third level of the knowledge is where the soul has its own understanding and also understand what the ultimate goal of its journey is, and it could realizes that Brahma. But still, it has just an established connection. It is not completely, reunited with Brahma. So that is the third level of knowledge, where it has its own knowledge and the connection with Brahma is established. So the flow of Brahma knowledge start happening. And the fourth level is where it forget itself and could only experience the supreme soul, the supreme being. Now it no more understand its own existence, but it could experience Brahma within and outside and around. That is the stage where Swamiji says, Shuddha Brahma ka Jnana. So that is how the soul's entire journey, we can say within just one couplet, Swamiji has explained these four levels of knowledge that every spiritual seeker should understand. Once you know get the basic understanding of this, then you understand how vast spirituality is. It is not just vast, but it is extremely subtle as well. When we are in physical body and we have only the understanding of physical world, that is what is called gross body. But as you embark on spirituality, the subtle knowledge or the subtle experience start happening with you, and your consciousness start getting more and more subtle. And of course, spirituality is all about the mystical wonders. On the way to your final destination, you come across several milestones where you experience the wonders, the mystical wonders of spirituality. So last time I said that spirituality is so subtle that Swamiji has mentioned that चींटी का भी पैर इस पर नहीं रुक सकता. So it is so slippery and it is so subtle that even the ant cannot able to stand on this path. And that's why anybody who is getting on the path of spirituality need to have a lot of determination and also need to have a lot of patience and have to perform param purusharth, the extreme duty. When you embark on this journey, you might have came across a lot of spiritual seekers, and probably many of us would have picked up spirituality at a different level. Some people think breathing exercises is spirituality. For some, just chanting is spirituality. Some people, there is a different way what they call spirituality is. So everybody understand the spirituality from different aspect, and they begin their journey from that point. But Vihangam Yoga says the very first step on this path is to understand what is eternal and what is transient. Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivek. This is extremely important to understand the difference between what is truly eternal and what is really a transient in this manifested world. As I mentioned earlier, we often consider this human body is everything. And this world, this universe that we experience day in, day out, is the only thing that exists. Even though many ancient scriptures are talking about how transient, how momentary all this is, yet we refuse to accept it and spend our entire life under the illusion that whatever we are doing, whatever we are possessing, whatever we are accumulating is eternal. It is going to be with us forever. Whether it is our beautiful body or our great relationship or a lot of wealth or the respect and honors we get in the society. We think that is eternal, that is never going to change, that is never going to go away. And that is where everything boiled down, where the strong bondage, keep coming back to us. And therefore, Swamiji says, if you really want to get on spirituality, first you need to understand what is eternal and what is transient. We all know Brahma Vidya has two aspects. One is external or theoretical knowledge of it, and then the other aspect of it is, other side of it is the experiential knowledge. Therefore, as a spiritual seeker, first it is very important to understand this concept of eternal and transient. So what is truly eternal? If you need to define what is eternal, then we can say an entity which has no beginning and therefore it does not have any ending. And there is no reason behind its existence. Means it is not derived or it is not originated from any other thing. Rather, it is by itself is a reason for other thing. Therefore, eternal is something that always exists and it does not require any reason for its existence. And because it never begins and never ends, there is absolutely no external force that can destroy or dissolve such an entity. That's why we call it eternal. It's not momentary, it is not bounded by time. There is no point in history where we could say that this particular entity, what we call eternal, has started or begin to exist. And there is nothing that we could logically come to a conclusion that at this point of time in future, it is going to end or destroy or dissolve. There are such entities which has this criteria, which satisfy this criteria, and that's why we call those entities as eternal entities. If this is eternal, what is transient then? This is exactly opposite to the eternal. Transient things have the beginning, and because they have beginning, they have ending as well. We all know the thing that begins eventually ends, whether it is this human body or to the vast universe. And there is always a reason behind the existence of transient things. They do not exist by this themselves. They are derived or they are created from something else. So there is a reason behind their existence. And because they begin and they have ending, they can be destroyed and they can be dissolved. Now, when you understand this differentiation, the journey on spirituality becomes a little easier. Now, again, we are going back to Swarved and taking its help to understand this in deeper aspect. Why we are going to Swarved? Because if I keep talking, I am not a realized yogi I may read and understand at my intellect and share with you. And therefore, there is a very good chance that I could make a mistake. But if you go through Swarved, which is a Aptavani, which is written in the Supreme Conscious State, there cannot be a mistake. It is the Nirbhrant Vachan. Whatever is written in Swarved in form of couplet and it's a description, everything is in the Supreme Conscious State that Sadgurudeo has written. And therefore, I could make a mistake at the of my understanding at the intellect level. But there is no mistake when you go through Swarved. So as usual, I always recommend everybody, whether the person is newly connected to Vihangam Yoga or has been part of Vihangam Yoga for a very long time. All of us should read Swarved day in, day out. There is no aspect that is about spirituality that is not covered in Swarved. In fact, when I was saying that Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivek is the first step of understanding spirituality, no wonder Swamiji has explained these eternal entities in very first chapter of Swarved, where Swamiji says, Nitya Anadi Shat Vastu hai, inkar sab vistar, Rupa Guna Aru Karma ka Vyakhya Sakal Pasa. So this Swarved discuss about such 6 eternal entities and their properties, their nature. It's all about these 6 entities that Swarved, talking about. So when you go through Swarved and understand it, initially at the physical level, your intellect level, you understand these 6 entities inside out. There is no question left behind to be answered. And Swamiji has mentioned or set a context in the very first chapter about what is going to be covered in Swarved. And it's all about discussing these 6 eternal entities and how they are connected with each other. What are their natures? What do they do as a part of their karma? Further, Swamiji says, चेतन चार स्वरूप है, जड़ है एक आसार, जड़ चेतन से रहित है, एक बांध संसार. Now, Swamiji has mentioned there are 6 eternal entities, but what are those? So out of those 6 eternal entities, there are 4 entities which are conscious entities. Well, there is one entity which is inert, and then the last one, the 6th one, is such an entity which is neither conscious nor an inert. So let's start discussing on these 6 entities. As I mentioned that there are 4 conscious entities. So Swamiji continued discussing about this. Which are those 4 entities? Swamiji says, एक सकल अस्कंभ है, एक चलावनहार, बद्ध मुक्त तत्व एक है, एक छुड़ावनहार. So these are the four conscious entities, and we can discuss further on this one. In today's session, we are not going to cover all of them because they are so vast. You can understand these 6 entities is what is covered in 4,000 couplets of Swarveda. So it is not possible to talk about them in detail in mere 45-50 minutes. So we will just briefly touch upon them, and then we will, go through each of the entity in further detail. So these 4 conscious entities that Swamiji is explaining above are: one is soul or Jivatma that resides in every living being. Another one is cosmic creator, or what we call Akshar Brahma, about which Lord Krishna has also mentioned in Gita in chapter 13. Then the Supreme Being, Paramatma, Paramakshar, Sar Shabd. And the fourth one is Eternal Master or Nityanadi Sadguru. So these are the 4 conscious entities. Now, when we say conscious entities, what does it mean? A conscious entity has its own awareness. It can perform action by itself. And there is a life when that conscious entity is within that particular object. For example, human body. The human body is alive as long as the conscious entity called soul is residing there. And as soon as soul escapes the body, the same living entity become a dead body. So the conscious entity has knowledge, it has awareness, it can take decision, it can do the activities. So these are the 4, and there is a difference between all these 4. And when we actually move to those 4 entities, we will talk in further detail how they are different from each other. So right now we will just briefly go over them. Apart from 4 conscious entities, Swamiji was saying that one is an inert entity. And what is that inert entity? That is a Prakriti. Now, Prakriti is what caused this universe to exist. And when we say inert, how different it is from conscious entity is the inert entity cannot perform any action by itself. It does not have its awareness. For example, the chair you are sitting cannot move by itself. It does not know its existence. It cannot take decision. It does not have any awareness of its surrounding. That object is called inert. So where there is no conscious entity inside, that everything is inert. So even human body, when soul escapes, that body becomes, just an inert or dead body. So Prakriti is something which is inert. It requires the conscious entity to play a role in the existence of or in the creation of universe. Now the third one Swamiji mentioned is an entity that is neither conscious nor inert, and that is time, kal, samay. So these are the 6 entities which is everything in spirituality. If we could understand theoretical about these entities, we could say we understand the spirituality from physical aspect. So let's start getting further on this one. We'll go over time first because it is a shorter one. We can cover it in today's session. So time is an eternal entity when it comes to spiritual world. In the physical science, if we want to define time, we could say that time is nothing but the sequence of events or sequence of moments, which can be measured in various units like seconds, minutes, hour, days, months, years, era. So in the physical world, time is mere limited to the sequence of events. And therefore, I don't know how many of you might have heard of this book called History of Time, written by uh, the great scientist Stephen Hawking. So in physical science, they understand or they have understanding at the moment that there was a particular moment when the time begins. And that particular moment they call as a Big Bang theory. But when it comes to spiritual world, time is considered as the eternal entity because it always exists. From spiritual perspective, we can define it as an entity that governs the physical world and the cycle of birth, life, and death. So when we say it governs the physical world, it gives you the glimpse that time is not just mere a sequence of events, but it actually plays a bigger role. And it is always there. Why? Because when the universe start forming, what we call kalp. Kalp is a period during which the srishti exists, the universe exists, this world exists. One kalp is one that entire era when the srishti is in existence, and at the end of kalp is what happens is pralay. But as we understand in spirituality, it is a cycle of srishti coming into existence, getting destroyed, and again coming back to life. So therefore, it is also, we can call it, a lot of people might have heard about Brahma's day and night. So you can define a day of Brahma as when Srishti exists, and it is the night time when actually Pralaya exists. So if you see from this perspective now, day and night, if you try to connect it to our physical world, where day and night happens, you will understand that during night hours or night time, the time still exists. You could still tell, yeah, night is these many hours. After, let's say, after 10 hours of darkness, the day will begin. It does not happen that we measure only the time when sun is out. The time still exists even though the sun is not in the sky. Similarly, When Srishti is there, we are measuring time. But when Srishti is not there, there is an eternal entity which continue measuring the time of that dark period, what we call pralay or night, and eventually decide when the next day has to begin. And that is Supreme Soul or Supreme Being. So Paramatma continues to measure this and decide when the Srishti has to end and when the new Srishti has to begin. So the time between one Srishti and the next one, the time of Pralaya, is also well defined, and it is decided by Supreme Soul. Just because there is no Srishti does not mean that Paramatma randomly start creation of new Srishti. We may be doing random things. Paramatma don't do that. And therefore, even in Vaisheshik Darshan Shastra, Maharshi Kanad has written about Kal in a chapter that is called Kal Sukta. So the bottom line is time always exists. We may not be able to measure the time during Pralaya because there is no living being or a physical creature exists during Pralaya. But that does not mean it's a similar, if I want to put an analogy again of our day and night time. If you are in deep sleep during night hours and you are not understanding or you have no understanding of the external world, that does not mean the time is not ticking, the clock is not running, right? So similarly, just because universe did not exist does not mean that nobody is governing that. The creation and destruction of Srishti keep happening one after another. Because there is a larger entity who governs this whole cycle. And that entity measures the time. So time always exists. But this time has the boundary within this physical world, or what we call the 1/4 region of Supreme Soul. And therefore, in spiritual definition, if you see, we are saying that it governs the physical world. So the dimension of time only exists within the physical world. So when soul crosses this boundary of Kal, it basically achieves the salvation. Because now it is not bounded by Kal. It is not governed by Kal. So it goes beyond the Kal, and therefore it does not have to come back for the cycle of life and death. So this is all about time. Now the next entity out of the six are, as I mentioned earlier, the Jada entity, which is Prakriti. Now in Swarved, it is, mentioned through various words, various synonyms. Swamiji often called it Mula Prakriti or Parmanu or Maya. But basically, Prakriti is such an inert entity which always exists. And it not just exists, but it also has three properties, trigunas, sattva, raja, and tama. So everything that exists in this universe has these three properties in it. Whether it is human body, any living body, or a non-living body. Every single object of this universe has the influence of these trigunas. And therefore, if you read any spiritual book, it always talk about the influence of these trigunas and recommend or command you to go beyond these trigunas and become trigunatit or nirgun, where the gunas of prakriti does not exist. So basically, prakriti always have these three properties, and therefore everything that is inside prakriti has these properties. Now, earlier we were talking about srishti, kalp, pralaya, and everything, and now we are talking about prakriti. So how do we differentiate between prakriti and srishti? Some people may consider both of these are synonyms, but actually not. There is a very important difference between these two. Prakriti or Mool Prakriti is eternal. It always exists, and therefore it is a Karan, or it is a root cause. It is a root cause for what? For Srishti, or the universe, or the physical world. प्रकृति की विकृति को सृष्टि कहा जाता है. So सृष्टि come into existence from Prakriti, and therefore Prakriti is a Karan, it is a root cause, and Srishti is a Karya, or the effect of this Prakriti. And therefore, when the creation or the destruction happen, that happens for the Srishti, not for Prakriti. Prakriti always remains as it is. So if I want to explain it in physical world analogy, I can take a couple of examples, and here they are. So Prakriti is something like, if you want to take a gold. Now gold is an ingredient for the creation of gold jewelry. Jewelry is created from the gold. So the properties of gold always remain in the form as ingredient in the jewelry. If you destroy jewelry, it will come back as a actual gold. And to create the golden jewelry, you need to have gold, which always exists. And you can create different jewelries from the gold. So gold is the reason for the jewelry to exist. Similarly, if you want to consider a pot, a clay pot, the clay, the soil already exists. Without soil, you cannot create a pot. But pot is just a form created from the soil. If you break the pot, it returns back to clay. Similarly, when Srishti get created from Prakriti, from Parmanu. So Prakriti is Upadan Karan. It is what Karan it is, or what is the reason? Swamiji says Prakriti is Upadan Karan for Srishti. So every object, that's why I was saying in Srishti, in this universe, every object has those trigunas because Srishti is made or created from Mool Prakriti. So tomorrow when Pralay happens, all the objects got dissolved, destroyed, and they return back in the form of Parmanu. And therefore, Mool Prakriti always exists. Without Prakriti, Srishti cannot happen. Just like without gold, a golden jewelry, or without soil or clay, a clay pot cannot exist. Now, how that happens? Because we are talking here that Prakriti is a jad, and one of the most important aspect of jad or inert object is it do not perform any action by itself. It requires a conscious entity to perform action on this jad to create that effect. So from Prakriti, a srishti happens, but it does not happen by itself because Prakriti is inert. It cannot take a decision or decide when to create a srishti. And therefore, it requires the support or a decision maker or a creator, what we call cosmic creator. And therefore, in this picture, I showed hands purposely there because the soil does not automatically create a form of pot, but there are those two hands who make a pot from that soil. So now how this happens, we can discuss further. But before that, I will take a pause here. And probably people may have questions or may want to share their thoughts. So first we will, take their questions or understand if people have anything to say. And if time permits, we will further dive into how the Srishti happens. Otherwise, we will take it in the next session. Back to Ruchiji. Jai Sadgurudeo.
Thank you, Geshi. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to you for your invaluable guidance and teachings on Vihangam Yoga fundamentals. Yogeshi's expertise and dedication are definitely helping us enrich our understanding brick by brick and empower us to share this profound knowledge with others. I would like to express heartfelt thanks to all the participants who actively engaged in the session. Your enthusiasm and insightful experiences have made this truly enriching experience together. Together, we are building a strong foundation for sharing transformative power of Vihangam Yoga. Now, I would like to request that if anyone has any questions or thoughts or would like to share any of their narratives on the same line, anyone who has joined the session for the first time, please introduce yourself and share how you learned about the satsang. Please feel free to introduce yourself.
I think
Yes.
if nobody has a question, then we can conclude the point how the Srishti come into form, and then probably we can take, stop there.
Sure,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
So coming back to the difference between Prakriti and Srishti, as I mentioned, Prakriti is a reason for Srishti. And I also mentioned that there are these two hands who actually create a pot because clay by itself cannot create a pot. A jewelry do not exist or come to existence by itself just because there is a gold. So what is there? Who is there? And why do we even need a pot, right? Why do we need a jewelry? So Swamiji in Sarved says सृष्टि के कारण तीन है, सृष्टि के कारण तीन है, प्रकृति, ब्रह्म और जीव। उपादान साधार से निमित्त योनि है शिव। What does that mean? Means this Srishti come into existence, but there are three reasons behind it. Upadan means if you want to produce or create a pot, you need to have something, a raw material. And in terms of Srishti, the raw material is Parmanu or Prakriti. Prakriti and Parmanu, those are synonyms. Nimitta Yoni hai Shiv means who is creating that universe or that pot is Brahma. Brahma is the conscious entity, what we call cosmic creator. This conscious entity play a role in the creation. So Prakriti act as a, the base, where Brahma act as a root cause or nimitta karan. But Swamiji also talk about Jeev. So Jeev is a sadharan karan. What does that mean? Means this Srishti, the creation of this Srishti is for what? For Jeev. So for the soul, for Atma, Supreme Soul create the universe through Parmanus. Okay, so now we know there are three reasons behind creation of Srishti. But then why we need Srishti? We know Srishti is created for Jeev, but then what is the purpose? So there are two purposes that Srishti got created. One purpose is to undergo the fruits from their karmas. We all know when Jeev is in human body, they perform karmas. We also know the principle of karma, that every karma bear a fruit. So if a Jeev perform karma and it has to bear a fruit, it requires all the elements. And therefore Srishti is created. One reason or one purpose for Srishti is to bear the fruits of karma. And what is the other purpose? The other purpose is upliftment. Because if Jeev has a free will, and if Jeev is doing karmas, it requires a platform where it can bear fruits and not just stay in that cycle of life and birth, but it also requires a platform to uplift itself, so that it can cross the boundaries of this 1/4 region of physical world, go beyond the Kal. And Srishti play a role, or Srishti is a platform that Brahma give to the soul, so they can bear their fruits and also work on uplifting themselves to reach to the salvation. So this is very important to understand, that Prakriti and Srishti, those are two different things. One is a reason for other. But because the Prakriti is inert, it cannot turn into Srishti by itself. It requires conscious entity. So there is Brahma, which create that universe. And as we know, Paramatma do not do anything just for the sake of doing it. So of course, Srishti is not just created for fun. So there is a reason, there is a logic. And why it is created? For Jeev to bear the fruits of karma and also progress to reach to the salvation. Karma ke bhog or apavarg. Those are the two purposes why Srishti is created. Here is where I will like to, take a pause, and then next session we will go further on to conscious entities. Jai Sadgurudeo.
Thank you, Yogeshi, again for the insight you have provided on Vihangam Yoga fundamentals. We learned about Prakriti, Shrishti, the causes. We covered a lot today. As we all know that this is very vast topic, so we will need to be connected every Sunday here to know more about all these fundamentals. So again, I would like to ask anyone who is new here, want to introduce themselves, how they got connected with the Vihangam Yoga, or if they want to share their viewpoint on this topic, or they have any questions, please come forward and ask it. I think we,
Jai Sadgurudeo.
yes.
Good morning and happy new year to you all. Thank you very much, Yogesh. Very beautiful description of the Tattva. One question I was just curious is why do we call Parmanu for Prakriti and Anu for Atma, the Chetan Tattva? That's the first thing. And then the other question is what kind of DNA engineering is done when we talk about Anu, Parmanu, Yog, Viyog? Thank you.
Jai Sadgurudeo Niranjan ji. I got to your first question, why we call Prakriti as Parmanu. What you were talking about, Jeev? I could not get that.
And Atma is Anu.
Okay.
Atma is termed as Anu. And I think it is also as per the Swarved. And but in typical, like in Bhautik, in a physical sciences, Anu, Parmanu, they call it molecule and atom. But in the context of spirituality, it is Prakriti and Atma. So that is, if there's any reason behind that, if there is, then I would like to know that. And the other is, Swami always refers about engineering Yog Vyog of the Parmanu from the Akshar Mandal. And if you can throw some light on that. Ji, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your question, because those touch the very deeper aspect of Swarveda and spirituality. So what is Parmanu? First thing is, let's talk about Jeev and Anu. So Jeev, Anu is not synonym for Jeev or Atma. We call Jeev Atma as a Anu entity or atomic entity, because when we talk in the context of Supreme Soul, which is the Vibhu entity, means which exists everywhere, you cannot break it, divide it, you cannot separate anything from it. So we call Paramatma as a Vibhu, or which pervade everything, which exists everywhere. in comparison of Paramatma, if you talk about the existence of Atma, Atma is just like a Parmanu is ocean and soul is like a droplet. So from that context, we call Atma as Anu or atomic because it stays at one place. It does not exist at multiple places at the same time. So Atma, Anu is not a synonym, rather it is just to explain the context or the difference between Paramatma and Atma. So Atma is Ekadeshiya, means it exists at one place. It is singular. It is it stays at one place at any given point of time. It is atomic by nature. If it has to be existed somewhere else, it has to go there to exist. So that's why we call Atma as a Anuatma or atomic in nature in the context when we compare it with Paramatma, which exists everywhere. So I hope that is clear there. Now, Parmanu, Prakriti. So when we say Mool Prakriti, which has Sattva, Raja, Tamo, these three properties or ingredients. So Parmanus are very, very subtle, what we call like, yeah, the particles. Those are so subtle that what Parmanus we talk in the physical world from the scientific aspect in today's modern world, there is absolutely, Swamiji says, there is absolutely no device that can decode these Parmanus or reach or see these Parmanus. Those are that subtle they are. That's why they are called Parmanu in spirituality. They are so subtle, there is no Jad entity which is subtler than Parmanu. So they are the original ingredient or the particles from which the entire universe, including the five fundamental elements like Akash, Jal, Vayu, Agni, and Prithvi. All those five fundamental elements are also created from these Parmanus. And therefore, Swamiji always says that the Parmanu that spirituality talk about is the science that only yogis could understand. Bhautik Shastragya, the modern science, cannot understand that because no physical device can have a capability to see these Parmanus. When yogi reach to or cross the boundaries of physical world and reach to or understand the knowledge of Akshar Brahm, from that region, yogi could see how the srishti happening and destruction happens, because the what you call the source of these Parmanus is at the uh, in 1/4 region at the place where we call the Mahashunya or where the Akshar Mandal starts. This is the place from where the universe start coming into existence when the Akshar Brahma, appears, and the sound of Akshar Brahma create the vibration in these Parmanus, and then the Parmanus start coming together. One become two, two become three, three become four, five, and then slowly first comes what exists is this Akash Tattva. So that's why Swamiji says it cannot be understood from the physical science. It requires the knowledge of yogi. A yogi who reached to the level where they can see the Parmanus. And when you understand or when you can see in your conscious level these Parmanus, then you also understand the science of these Parmanus, how they unite together to form certain things and how they, fall apart. So if yogi reach to that level, automatically he understands the knowledge, how they come together and how they depart. And they can use that knowledge to make the changes into the Prakriti by applying their knowledge, bringing some Parmanus together or changing the Parmanus which are together, differentiating them. So that is why Swamiji says it is the science that only yogis can understand. And that is what actually Swamiji referred to uh, uh, परमाणु क्रम विज्ञान, जिसको स्वामी जी ने कहा है कि, या परमाणु का योग वियोग जिसको कहा गया है, वो उसी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से कि वंस योगी रीच टू दैट लेवल, when yogi reach to akshar brahma level, then he understand the entire inside out of how srishti is formed from mool prakriti, and then he use that knowledge to make the changes in prakriti. I hope I am able to answer, Niranjan ji.
Ji, thank you very much. So when the changes are made at the mm, at the Akshar Brahm in the Parmanu by the yogi, then does that alter the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas of the Jivatma,
It
or Ahamkar
what
of the
changes that
Jivatma?
yogi does depend on the influence of those sattva raja tama gun on that particular object, not necessarily just jivatma. So yogi can make the changes into uh, some uh, some physical object, not necessarily a human body or anything. But because every object is made from mool prakriti, which has sattva raja tama, so if there is a change in the object, there is definitely change in this uh, state of these trigunas.
Ji. And the three gunas, the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, uh, they also are related to the Aham, Antahkarna, and not just the physical Akash and Vayu and Jal Tattva, but also
Right,
the subtle
right,
tattvas.
right. Because our human body is also made from mool prakriti, like those 5 elements. If you see, the human body is made from 5 elements. It has every element that is originally, initially created, and therefore, because it is created from prakriti, obviously the properties of prakriti are reflected in human body, including like chitta, buddhi, ahankar. All these 3 inner organs are made of prakriti, and therefore those 3 are impacted or influenced by these 3 gunas. And how you eat, how you think, what is your surroundings, all those things influence these 3 gunas in your buddhi, chitta, and automatically your thought process is changed based on what is influential at that particular time.
Ji. Thank you. Yes, Ji. That was my understanding. And when Swamiji says that yogi वहाँ से अक्षर मंडल से योग वियोग करते हैं, does that also mean that is where the yogi works on the disciples in uh, eliminating the defects and also the aham of the disciple?
Yeah,
Is
that could
the
be the thing. Now, see, I truly and honestly do not know that subtle knowledge, but yes, I also understand, or I have a feeling that that is how when Swamiji, uh, jab, when somebody's thought process has to be changed, or good sanskaras has to, good virtues has to arise or strengthen, uh, probably Swamiji do, you know make the changes, required changes, so the disciple stay on the path of spirituality. Because the disciple goes through various karma bhogas because of their prarabdha, and so that is where Sadguru's daya work. Now how it works, how Swamiji make whatever changes they want to, it is probably beyond my comprehension. Maybe if Vijayji want to share more on that, probably, but I do think that way.
Ji. Thank you. Yeah, I
Thank you,
think I was
Neeraj.
always curious about because he always talks about this, and so thank you for throwing so much light on this. Thank you.
Ji,
I
Jai
think
Sukhdev.
Suruchi ji.
I'll just
Yeah,
add
Vijayji, go ahead.
one
I'll,
line for Anu and Parmanu as a I will say linguistic way of understanding it. When we call Anu and Parmanu, we understand that Param Anu means it is the most fundamental atom. That's why it's called Parmanu. In science, initially scientists found that, okay, this is the atom and uh, this is indivisible. Later, they found that, oh, there's a electron, proton, neutron, and then they found further, uh, some more fundamental atom, even subtler than that. So the Parmanu is not here the Parmanu that the science understands, as Yogesh rightly said. Parmanu, if you take it as a qualifier to talk about something which is indivisible, most fundamental, the word for most fundamental atom, the word for that in Hindi is Parmanu. So when we say Parmanu in the dimension of inertness, what is the Parmanu in the dimension of inertness? The Parmanu in the dimension of inertness is the Mool Prakriti, the Prakriti Tattva, which Yogesh was describing today as one of the six eternal entity. So that is most fundamental atom, and that's why the word is Parmanu. Parmanu cannot be divided any further. If you go linguistically, the term Parmanu means something which is Param Anu. It cannot have any further subtle division of it, right? So that way, Parmanu for Prakriti is fitting very well, and that's why it's called Parmanu. Now, when you talk in terms of in the dimension of consciousness, in the dimension of consciousness, the Atma is called Anu Tattva. Why it is called Anu Tattva? Because within Anu, there is Parmanu, right? So we can say what is the Parmanu of conscious world? The Parmanu of conscious world, you can say, is Paramatma. Because Paramatma is the most, the subtle most conscious entity. Okay, so whatever is the subtle most, you can qualify that in terms of language. They say the way we are saying that the most subtle, in English, we are saying the most subtle conscious entity is Paramatma. So similarly, in Hindi, we can say चेतनत्व का परमाणु तत्व जो है, मतलब द मोस्ट सटल चेतनत्व, that is Paramatma. So linguistically, we cannot say Atma as Parmanu Tattva because there exist other entities which are more subtle than Atma, and that is Paramatma or Nityanadi Sadguru. They are more subtle than Atma. That's why, if at all we have to say something which is like unilocated entity, an entity which is existing at one point of time only at one place, in Hindi it is called as Anu Tattva. Anu meaning the entity which exists at one point of three-dimensional space at any point of time. Okay, so that is by language, if you want to decipher between why Atma is called Anutattva and Prakriti is called Parmanu Tattva. So they are like in two different dimensions. Yeah, thank you, Leslie.
Thank you. So you basically meant, Vijayji, that Anu and Parmanu. So Parmanu is the subtlest
Yeah,
element in the
correct.
Prakriti mandal,
Right,
and
right.
Anu is Atma in the conscious, in the Chetan world, and but then Paramatma equivalent to Parmanu in the Chetan world. So the dimensions, there are two different dimensions. So what
Yeah,
is
that's
equivalent
correct.
to Atma or Anu in the Prakriti dimension? So Parmanu is, we just talked about. Then what is the
Ye-
Anu in that Prakriti dimension?
Yeah, there are different compounds that are made after Parmanu. So
I see.
Parmanu meets together like before even the Akash comes into picture. Akash is one of the Panchabhuta Tattva where the um, you know that there are Panchabhuta which are created first, right? Akash, Jal, Vayu, Agni, Prithvi. So these are, you can say, one of those Anu entities. But even before these Anu come into picture, the Parmanu, first two Parmanu meets together and they are called Dvainuk Tattva, then Trainuk Tattva and all that. And then eventually the Panchabhut Tattva, the Akash Tattva is made out of Sattva Gun alone. Then the Prithvi comes at the end. So the sequence of Panchabhuta that are created, you can say they are the Anu Tattva in the Prakriti Mandal, you can say.
Ji. There's Mahatattva, and
Right.
the highest, the subtlest form in the Prakriti Mandal is Ahamkar. How is that Ahamkar related to the Parmanu?
It is the bhav, right? The ahankar bhav that you're talking about, the feeling of having the false pride about ourselves. You know, if you're talking about that ahankar, all these feelings are the result of which guna of prakriti is playing the role. When
Correct.
the ahankar is at the peak, that means it is like our tamogun is playing a big role here. And so all that, when you're talking about, you ask the DNA of even the Parmanu Yog, Viyog, Vigyan, but the DNA is actually the playing a role here also in the creation, not creation of only the physicality, but creation of bhav as well. When we feel sometimes very detached from the world, that is a feeling. It's called vairagya bhav. But vairagya bhav is again, the DNA of vairagya bhav will again have the role of satogun, rajogun, and tamogun. They are in certain composition at that point of time in your bhav, and that's how that bhav exists. So every existence in this creation, whether it is the action or bhav or the physicality, all that is made up of satogun, rajogun, and tamogun. So in that sense, your question is very appropriate that even the ahankar bhav that we have has a role of satogun, rajogun, and tamogun. What composition and all, that's beyond our comprehension because it is the Akshar Brahm's creation. And only when we reach to the zone of Akshar Brahm through our Vihangam Yoga meditation, and that's when all this, becomes comprehensible for us.
Ji, thank you so much. I think
Yeah.
this makes it so clear. Really appreciate it.
I can see Suruchi ji raising her hand. Probably she has a question. Suruchi ji, please unmute yourself. Over to you.
Hey, Sadgurudeo. This is actually Utkarsh joining from Pittsburgh on Suruchi's phone. This is one of my favorite topics and wonderfully structured explanation. It's like a Yogesh ji explained PhD level stuff, and Vijay ji you corroborated that at a KG level to the layman. Uh, I This is the only area where I've done some swadhyay, and Niranjan ji's question just wanted to add to that it's right to say that modern science is still catching up when it comes to the concept of Parmanu, concept of this physical creation. That's all we can see around. That's all modern science can see around us. So the standard model of particle physics, every few decades, they come up with a newer indivisible particle, or probably an indivisible particle, newer, smaller particle. So right now they've reached the level of quarks, leptons, and bosons, like the God particle that they discovered. But even these do not equate to the spiritual Parmanu, spiritual atom, because these three look different. The spiritual atom, or the Parmanu as described by spirituality, is something that is so basic that when Akshar Brahma, after getting instructions from Parbrahma, initiates, sends quantum vibrations through those Parmanus, the Parmanus start taking on different properties. They will start taking on a spin, a vibration of different amplitude, and go on to form the different elements, the five different elements in a particular order. Like the Akasha Tattva is formed, Vayu Tattva is formed next. I might be mistaken on that, but the Bijak Bhashya, it describes that entire process in very clear details. It's like these Parmanus take on different properties and then group. There's permutation combinations happening that result in different kinds of uh, further particles being formed. Now, like electrons, neutrons, protons, and when one or more of these combine together, then different atoms are formed, different elements are formed. But at a high level, classification wise, I believe that what I have understood is that the five, the Pancha Tattva, is the universal classification of everything that exists. Once Parmanus have formed matter, that's when it can be classified as either something that has mass. So Prithvi representing solids, Vayu representing gas, and Jal representing liquids. Then there's something that doesn't have a mass, which is ether, which is doesn't have mass but still exists and creates all of the space around all celestial bodies. So it has a role to play too, because it is the only thing that allows lights and waves to pass through. And we know about the fire element. The fire element is considered a transitory state. It is not just matter but also energy. And it's also said that Agni Prabhu ka Param Prabhu ka mukh kaha jata hai. So fire element is actually the mouth leading to the Almighty's mouth. So that's what I have understood high level, and my inference on one of Niranjan ji's last question was the ego, right? You're talking about the ahankar. Ahankar, I think Vijay ji described already that it's a feeling, but ahankar can also be looked at as one of the four internal organs that a Sukshma Sharir has been equipped with. When each of us Jiva, each of us soul came down to this physical creation, the Ekapad, Srishti, Then we were all equipped with a Sukshma Sharir that comprises the 5 Gyanendriya, knowledge organs, 5 Karmendriya, action organs, and 4 Antahakaran, Mana, Chitta, Buddhi, Ahankar, with each of their different roles to play. So, in that sense, Ahankar is something I understand it's extremely essential, because Ahankar is not just pride. Ahankar is the sensory organ, is the internal sensory organ, antahakaran, that is not a sensory organ, but the internal organ that allows us to assume an entity. So when I'm born in this lifetime, I am called Utkarsh. Niranjanji, you're born in this lifetime to a set of parents in a particular place. You assume the entity of Niranjan Kumar. So that is the ahankar, the ego that is making you forget who you truly are and the other entities that you might have assumed in your past lives. So that's kind of what the role it has to play. Yes, it is subtle, but there are more subtle, as Vijay said, there are much more subtle entities beyond even the Sukshma Sharir, the Hansa Deha, the purest form of the soul, is even subtler than that. Then Sadgurudeo is even subtler than that. Then when one reaches enlightenment, say the fourth stage of Vihangam Yoga, and one finds themselves in union with the entire cosmos, which is still one fourth of creation, then they see someone even subtler, the light of the Akshar Brahma. And that's where Sadgurudeva again appears and helps us through that confusion, because Sadguru is the GPS. He will tell you that this light is you, hey Jeev, this light is you, this light is Akshar Brahm, you two are separate, and you have to eventually go there. He points us in the direction of the most subtle uh, thing that exists, the most subtle entity that exists, and it's Vibhu, it's everywhere. That's the Parbrahma, Paramatma, Parmeshwar. So just my 2 cents. It's one of my favorite topics. So wonderful and invigorating satsang by everyone. Thank you. Jai Satgurudev.
Jai Sadgurudev, this is Rahul Osi. Can I take just 1 minute? Two small comments. And that is just because, such an exciting discussion going on. One of the things which Utkarshi was talking about, and I was connecting it with the koshas, which we have, panch koshas. So I'm not sure if Niranjanji, you have read about those koshas, Anandamay kosha, Pranamay koshas. But when you go and see those 5 koshas, there's the last kosha, or the most important one, is Vinanmay kosha. Within the Vinanmay kosha, self awareness or aham, ahankar, that is one of the key component there. So somebody who is, think about it, waking up the morning, the first thing is, you'll get to know your self awareness. Till the time you're not aware of, what you are, what is the role you're playing, other things will not be engaged. Your mind and everything, your body will not be engaged. So first thing comes to mind is your self awareness, ahankar. That is what gives you realization of what role, what are you doing, which place you are. So that is very important part in this spiritual world. Second comment I just wanted to make on the 3 gunas, the rajogun, satogun, and um, uh, tamogun. So from the perspective of the Hindu dharma as a whole, if you look at it, um, and Sanatan dharma, one of the key thing which we might appreciate is the division which has happened, and it's been mentioned in chapter 4 in Bhagavad Gita, how the division has happened in the past between um, the different castes. Those were actually based on the 3 gunas, and that's how they thought over that, what is the best way a person can work on any part. It was not something which was, sent out, thrown in front of the people. that there's one layer or another layer, and there's a differentiation. Somebody in one side cannot move to the other. It was more in terms of how these three gunas are there within somebody, and that can be different for different person, and that role can change, that division can change in the course of the time. So a lot of times I see that discussion happens, especially when we are in the Western world. So understanding that part is quite an important, that how Sanatan Dharma is based on the core principles of the three gunas, and not knowing is a wrong way of understanding that how the division has happened in the past. So just wanted to put that in front of the people. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all of your insights. Now we have reached the last phase of today's satsang. I request everyone to sit down for Shanti Path. In Shanti Path, we chant for peace for everyone in the universe. May Sadgurudeo bless the entire cosmos with peace, love, and prosperity. I would like to request Ishank to recite the last few lines of Shanti Path for us.
हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो, शांति शांतिमय शांति, शांति शांति जन शांति हो, पूर्ण शांतिमय शांति। हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप कर, दूर हो सब शांति, देव सदा फल शांतिमय, शांति शांति सुख शांति।
Thank you, Ishan, for Shanti Path. Now we reached the final stage also, and I would like to thank all of you for joining today's satsang. I encourage everyone to ponder upon the topic we discussed today, and keep connecting every Sunday to know more about the connecting topics, as we are going to one topic. So probably next topic will be connected to this. So I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Sulbhaji, Yogeshji, Vijay Kumarji, Niranjanji, Utkarshji, Rahulji, for your questions and giving us more insight towards it. And welcome Manoharji and Mukeshji. For the whole team behind this, for organizing and coordinating the satsang. I pray to Sadgurudeo for peaceful and a spiritual week ahead, all of us. See you all next Sunday at 9 a.m. EST on the same Zoom link session. Have a wonderful day ahead. Jai Sadgurudeo.